Which Georgia Bulldogs are going to be first-round picks in the 2024 NFL Draft? Yes, I'm looking ahead that far without even having the 2023 season played yet. And I think that there's going to be at least two Georgia Bulldogs drafted in the first round. Obviously, in the 2022 draft, they had five. This past draft, they had, three guys in the first round: Nolan Smith, Broderick Jones, and Jalen Carter. So 8 first-rounders in the last couple of years. And I think that they're going to add anywhere between 2 and 6 guys in this coming draft. And a lot of it depends on what happens in this season. Right now, there is one who I would consider to be a lock, and that guy right there, Brock Bowers. So I won't spend too much time talking about him, but I will touch base on it a little bit. Here's the thing. Georgia is making their case to become NFLU, right? It's been Alabama. LSU's produced a lot of NFL talent. So has Ohio State. Georgia's up there. And the last 2 years, having 25 players drafted in the last 2 years is an extremely impressive feat. And not to add a few undrafted free agents as well get onto NFL rosters. So it's been an impressive year as far as producing impressive couple of years as far as producing NFL talent. Ryan Curley from Dawg Post here, talking about the NFL draft. You guys know I like to talk about this real quick. Double Dogs and Dogstruction, those links are down below. Make sure you're checking those out. Our insider books from the last 2 years, right? These guys weren't first-round picks, but they're both in the NFL. Fourth and fifth round pick. Keely went the 4th or 5th round, right? To the Eagles, right? The Eagles becoming Georgia. The Eagles defense is stacked with Georgia players. So Brock Bowers, I think, can go anywhere between 5 and 20 in this coming draft. Fruit fly, anywhere between 5 and 20. Those first couple picks, we kind of know Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be a top 5 pick. We know that Caleb Williams is going to end up being a top 5 pick. There's some defensive talent at the top of the draft that might go in the top 5. There is an offensive lineman or two that people are projecting. Obviously, this is a far away. I mean, we're 10 months away from the 24 draft. So Bowers has had one of the most impressive careers for tight end in college football history, and he's only played 2 years, right? 2-time national champion, the Mackey Award winner, all of that. And it's what you see on the field. There aren't many tight ends like him. The last time a tight end got drafted super high, obviously Kyle Pitts, a couple years ago to the Falcons, 4th overall, right? I don't think Bowers will get drafted that high. One, just because he's not 6'6", all right? That's part of what Kyle Pitts, that's part of why he was considered a unicorn. That's going to be one of the reasons. And the other, just it's not a super valuable position compared to some others. So I think Bowers will end up going in the middle first round, maybe top 10. Who's next? Oh, did this go without me saying? I'll pause on this. Jamon Dumas Johnson, right? Someone who is close to winning a Butkus Award last year. He is very, very... Man, my slideshow is all messed up. There we go. He's a very, very instinctual linebacker. He's always where the ball is. What were his numbers last year? He was one of the best linebackers in college football. I've got his numbers. 70 total tackles. The 4 sacks mattered. No interceptions, but he did have that pick 6 in reserve time in 2021. He's a guy, he's meatier. He's not quite as athletic as some of the other Georgia linebackers, but he's got some meat on the bones. And if he has a huge season, or if he is the Butkus Award winner, he could very well be a first-round pick, whether it be late. I know the middle linebacker position is not as considered to be as valuable as some others, but we've seen middle linebackers get taken in the first round, and if he has a really good... Roquan Smith's one of them, top 10, right? Quay Walker, is he a traditional middle linebacker? Maybe not, but a linebacker that was drafted in the first round out of Georgia, Alec Ogletree, right? So Jamon Dumas Johnson could be one of those guys that's next in line. I think he's going to have a really good year. I think both those linebackers, right? Let's get to it. I got both the linebackers up here, so we'll go to Smile Mondon. I think Smile has a better chance to be drafted in the first round than Jamon Dumas Johnson, and some people might consider Pop to be a better linebacker, but what I watched, just obviously I watched some tape, but I watch it all live, and I'm in person. What I saw from Smile Mondon last year was impressive, right? And he was actually Georgia's tackling leader with 76 total. He had the sack and interception, that kind of acrobatic interception. It was all bobbled up in the air against LSU. I think that from a just an athletic standpoint, he is a freaky linebacker. and he's fast. He gets in the backfield so quickly. Him and Jamar Dumas-Johnson made some huge plays in the backfield that caused C.J. Stroud to be off balance and not make the right throw in the Peach Bowl. Those plays matter. Those are the plays that are going to be shown on tape, when this next draft process has started, let's be honest. So I think both of those guys could be first rounders. I lean Smile. Like, if you had told me only one will end up being it, it's going to be Smile would be my choice, right? Because I think from a speed standpoint, he played a lot of running back in high school. So I think Smile, from an athletic standpoint, the amount of times I've seen him just fly side to side, fly up and down, it's impressive. What do we got? Kamari Lassiter, defensive back. So a lot of people thought Keely Ringo was going to be a first-round pick heading into the year, right? He was a top 5 high school recruit in his class, one of the best players in that class. And then he goes to Georgia, doesn't play his freshman year. Second year, he's a starter immediately. He's on the opposite side of Darian Kendrick. Has an okay year, and then the season ends with him being the hero, right? And getting the pick 6 against Alabama. And I think his expectations became a little bit unrealistic after that. Now, from a physicality standpoint, he is an impressive guy. But anyway, the conversation's not for him. Kamari Lassiter has been on the opposite side of him, right? And my point being there, we thought Keely was going to be a first-round pick all the way up until towards the end of the season. He ends up going around 4 or 5 to the Eagles. Kamari is a different corner. He's not as big, all right? He's not as tall, maybe not even as fast, but he is one of the better corners I've seen as an open field tackler in the last couple of years. That fruit fly is driving me crazy. I'm trying to kill it for days. For open field tackling from Kamari Lassiter, this is a physical corner, right? And if he has a great year, he's locked down, he's going to find himself at the back end of that first round. Corners, there's been a lot of corners drafted at the top of the draft the last couple of years, but he'll find himself in the first round if he locks it down. I'm not sure who's going to be his running mate on the other side yet. Could be Dalen Everett, could be Nyland Green, could be somebody else. I think it's going to be one of those two guys probably. But for Kamari, it's go time for Kamari. It's always go time, but it's go time. Right? What do we got? Ooh, let's talk about this one. I don't know if this picture's cut off. Some of them might be cut off. Javon Bullard, right? This is the only great picture I grabbed of Javon Bullard. It's the hit on Marvin Harrison Jr. This is a guy this is one of Kirby's guys, a safety he loves, a 3-star safety that he loves. Grit, knack for the ball, heavy hitter. He's what you want in a safety. And if he has a big year, right? Maybe he didn't have a big year, but had big moments. The Tennessee game is when I first really noticed him bursting onto the scene. Gets a couple sacks in the fourth quarter in the rain. And then in the SEC championship in the playoffs, just the best defensive player for Georgia in those 3 games. The best defensive player for Georgia in those 3 games. The 3 turnovers forced against TCU. This guy is all over the place. He knows where the ball is. I've seen him just lay some guys out. He could be a first-round safety for sure, especially if he has a big year alongside Malachi Starks, a future first-round safety in 2025. If you ask me. Last one, Marius Mims. And I don't think there's that much to say. I don't know what he's measured at, but this guy is huge, right? I think he's 6'7", over 300 pounds, and I went to watch him play in high school, right? I went to scout him in high school, and this guy just stood there, tap, 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 tap. He is a physical freak. He's going to get probably looks at both left and right. He's going to play mostly right tackle. He'll be Georgia's starting right tackle this year, barring any changes. There aren't many humans made like him, right? It's the same reason why Darnell Washington's a good football player. There aren't a lot of humans like Amarius Mims. And if he comes in here this coming season and he's a star tackle, he will be a first-round pick because of the physicality. That's just point blank. I think that's just what it is. Those are 6 guys I think can definitely be first-rounders. Maybe there's more. I've considered Nazir Stackhouse on this list. I considered talking about a couple other guys. Maybe a receiver has a breakout year, right? Maybe a Dominic Lovett has a breakout year. Maybe Arian Smith shows something. But we know how valuable receivers are in the NFL. But those 6 guys have a shot. And probably a lock for Brock Bowers. Thanks for watching. Links are down below.